Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are talking about fermenting chicken feed, how it's beneficial to your chickens, and how it's beneficial to your pocket. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about fermenting chicken feed. So for anybody that doesn't know what fermented chicken feed, it is basically like giving your chicken a load of probiotics. It's referred to as a wet mash or moistened food, and it is created by lactic acid fermentation. So it's the kind of thing that you find when people ferment like sauerkraut. So just like in sauerkraut, it contains all good bacteria for your gut, lactobacillus and beneficial bacteria and yeasts that are really good for the gut. So how does fermenting your chicken feed work? Well, for the first day of soaking, the grains greatly improve their digestibility by reducing phytic acid and the enzyme inhibitors that are all found in grains, seeds and legumes. By the second day, the lactic acid begins the process of fermentation, which consumes the sugars in the grains and helps them to multiply in vast numbers, and this in turn it makes the environment that the grains and everything are in, it makes it unsuitable for any bad bacteria to exist, and this process only really leaves behind any of the beneficial microbes. And as long as your feed and your grains stay submerged in this water or lactic acid bath, they'll be absolutely fine, and they'll be preserved indefinitely. But at some point they will become too sour, and then they won't become tasty at all for your chickens. So there is a balance. Typically, the fermentation only usually goes as far as 3 days. Any further than that, and then they become a bit sour and unpalatable for your chickens. So why should we consider fermenting our chicken feed? Well, one of the reasons is that it helps preserve and enhance the food so that the digestibility of the feed is a lot. It just helps the chicken to get the most nutrients from the feed, so they get a lot more protein from the feed by fermenting the feed. And it also helps to reduce the acid that's in the stomach, and it gives them a digestive balance, which helps to again aid in the absorption of the nutrients that are in the food, and it also will neutralize any of the toxic compounds in there, and it strengthens the overall immunity of your chicken. And not only that, it will help to increase the egg weight, the shell thickness and the shell weight improves, and it boosts the chicken's intestinal health. It helps to give them a natural immunity with things like E. coli, salmonella, well, I can't get my words out today, and they have a lower consumption of the feed, because when you put the feed into the bucket and you add the water to it, the feed actually doubles in size, so therefore you are actually saving quite a bit of money, because you don't need half as much as food. Fermenting feed also helps produce new vitamins within the food, such as things like the B vitamins, the folic acid, which again good for the eggs. So you've got riboflavin, niacin and thiamine as well, that also help to come from the fermentation process. So in all, fermenting your feed is better for the eggs, it's better for the chicken, and you get lower food costs, which in turn helps you save money on the amount of feed that you're giving to your chickens every day. So, in a nutshell, fermenting chicken feed. It helps improve the digestibility of the feed and nutrient absorption. It's beneficial to their gut. It decreases the pathogens in their digestive system. It makes the protein more readily available. They in turn require less feed, so you get double the amount of feed. It saves money, and I don't know if any of you have seen this, but we're heading for a recession, so anything that saves money is beneficial right now. And I've also seen an article in the newspaper saying that a lot of people are turning to taking their pets to rescue centres because they can't afford to feed them anymore. So obviously this is going to be beneficial if you're in that situation and you are thinking about giving up your chickens. This is a way that you can save money on their feed, and it has actually helped us quite a lot, as we were going through around about 2 bags a month, but this month we've still got a good quarter of a bag left, so we will only be using 1 bag this month. So obviously already we are on the path to saving money using this method. Another reason is in the hot weather, it actually increases the water intake to your chickens, so it's another way of getting those beneficial fluids up when it's warm weather. So yeah, I suppose now I better show you how to go about fermenting your chicken feed. So I only have a flock of 5 birds, but you can scale this up to whatever size flock that you've got. All you basically need is the right size container and some water. So this is my container that I ferment my grains in. I have got in there some organic pellets, and I've got some organic scratch in there too. Now what I normally do is put 1 handful of pellets per bird, so there is 5 handfuls of pellets in there, and there is also 3 handfuls of scratch. And I'm going to add the water to this. Now I'm using rainwater, collected rainwater for this. You can use tap water, but if you're going to use tap water you might want to leave it out to stand for 24 hours, as this helps to remove the chlorine in the water and helps the fermentation process speed along quite a bit. As you can see, the grains are submerged with a fair amount of water over the top. It's around about an inch over the top of the water there, because your grains are going to swell up, and the water helps to keep out any unwanted bacteria or mold growing on the top. So basically now you're going to put the lid on, and you're going to leave that to ferment for 24 hours, and then come back and check on it. So here we are 24 hours later, and this is what your food will look like. So all you need to do now is give it a good stir, just to help break up the food a little bit. There we go, that's broke that up a little bit more, which will help release further vitamins and nutrients in the food. And basically all you do now is pop the lid back on and leave it for the remainder of the time. So we're going to check back on this in another 48 hours, and hopefully we will have some lovely fermented chicken food. Good morning guys, and we are here now on day 3 of the fermented food, so we're going to have a little look and see what it looks like. Okay, so there we go guys. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but you can actually see that it is bubbling, which means that the fermentation has been well underway and it's got to a nice stage now. So let's give that a stir so you can see what that's like. Okay, see all those lovely grains have broken up quite a lot, and as you can see, the food has actually doubled in size from what it was. So it's now time to strain off that liquid and we can get to feeding it to the chickens. So there you go guys, you can see I've strained some of the water but not all, because today they've given it out as it's going to be a really hot day. We're heading for 30 today, so I want to get some extra fluids into the chickens. But with the water that you have strained away, don't throw that away, because you can add that to the chickens' water, because obviously that's full of goodness in there. You've got all those beneficial bacteria and things in there, so you can add that to the chickens' water. And you can also use that water to start off your next batch. So as you can see, my girls are eagerly awaiting breakfast time, so let's go ahead and give them some breakfast. There we have it guys, the chickens are getting their breakfast. Now I add some organic powdered eggshells to mine, because we do have one chicken that does struggle on occasion with soft eggshells, so I do add a little bit of that to the feed. But other than that, that's them with their fermented feed. Now obviously you can add anything that you want to the feed. A lot of people, like in the winter months, like to add different things like cayenne pepper and things to warm them up. Obviously in the summer months they don't need that. But additional things to add to the feed I will cover in another video. So if you are wanting to feed fermented feed every day, then I suggest that you get 3 containers and you start one off one day, one off the next day, and start another on the 3rd day. And then once you've fed the first day's container, that then becomes filled up again, ready for that to be turned into the 3rd day, if that makes sense. So you've always got the 3 on the go but at different stages, and that way you will have a continuous supply of fermented feed. I don't do this. I give mine fermented feed maybe 3 times a week, so I don't start a new batch every day. You can do whatever suits you best for your chickens. So that's everything for me guys. If you have any questions or comments, please pop them in the comments below. Other than that, please give us a like, consider subscribing to us, and as always, be safe and have a lovely day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.